Good morning, one and all. So today we are going to discuss a good topic, that is introduction to income tax. Income tax is a good subject. It has to be updated every year based on new slabs and new amendments made by the Finance Act in the Parliament during the month of February every year. So here this is a good subject and it's a dynamic subject and very much interesting subject. Why? Because it is a link with income. Whether we are paying tax or not, or we are paying the tax, we are going to deal today. Tax is an important source of revenue to the government. It is compulsory contribution from the individual person to meet the expenses incurred by the central and state government in common interest. Okay, the tax is the only revenue to the government, either it is a state government or central government, to run the all the schemes, programs, those who are launching every year. So you observe a number of programs are there for the welfare of the citizen of India. They are using the word for the welfare of the citizen of India. That's why here the tax is the only revenue for the government. So you observe the central government schemes and programs here. The central and state government takes a primary responsibility for welfare of its citizen to meet the expenditure which incurs in healthcare, education, employment, infrastructure, social security, and other development requirements. Schemes and programs like Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Sukanya Samruddhi Account, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Kisan Vikas Patra, Atal Pension Yojana, Swachh Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, Kishan Vikas Patra, and many more schemes are there. Here I collected very few for your understanding purpose. You observe the responsibility of the central or the state government is the very very important for the welfare of its citizens. Why? Because they are the source to create the revenue to incur on healthcare. You observe how many government hospitals are there in India, either statewide or central wide, and educational institutions are there. For in the education institutions here, payment of salaries, giving scholarships to the students, either by the UGC or any other department. Nowadays, you observe the banks also giving the scholarships for the PhD or PDF candidates, and UGC also giving the single child scholarship also, and employment also creating by the government. At the time of getting the employment, at the when they selected for the government services, for them also we need to pay the salary from such candidates. For such employees also, the government is a feels a responsible to pay the salaries for these government to run all these schemes which are appearing on the screen, and payment of all the salaries to maintain the health department, education department, infrastructure facilities, and social security is very very important. Social security in the important here, the defense security here. Okay, to all these activities, revenue is important, the finance is important. Finance is the lifeblood of the organization, finance is the lifeblood of the government. Why? Because how far in our body the blood is circulating from top to bottom. When sufficient blood is there in our body, then only we will act according to the directions given by the brain. In the same manner here, when the sufficient finance, sufficient revenue is there in the hands of government, then it will run very smoothly and properly, and everything will goes in a good manner. So you observe all these schemes. I think you heard these schemes either in the newspapers or social media or from your friends or anywhere you heard these schemes. For all these schemes which are appearing on the screen, for these the revenue is the source only the people, only the public. Public in the sense, here the two types, they are paying the direct tax as well as indirect tax. What is direct tax and what is indirect tax, we are going to learn in the next slide. And then here the tax is only the source. So what is tax also we are going to learn today. Then next here, state government schemes and programs are there. I have taken the state government of Telangana. Here the few schemes are there like Mission Kakatiya, Mission Bhagiratha, Kalyan Lakshmi, Swachh Bharat, Harita Haram scheme, double bedroom housing for poor, TS iPass, Arogya Lakshmi scheme, Asara pensions, Shadi Mubarak, and many more schemes are there which are launched by the government of Telangana, a new formed state. A new formed state, they are implementing these schemes for the welfare of the people, those who are living in the state. You know what is Mission Bhagiratha and Mission Kakatiya. Okay, you can go into the details by clicking in the YouTube channel also, or anywhere you can get some information uh, regarding Mission Bhagiratha and Mission Kakatiya. And Kalyan Lakshmi is a good program because when the child age is 18, then she is eligible for marriage. Okay, here what happens at the time of Kalyan Lakshmi, at the time of Kalyan of such girl, the finance is a very, very important, sir. Why? Because a parent has a parent, the government is on behalf of their parent, they are taking responsibility and they are giving some amount for the incurring expenditure at the time of Kalyan, at the time of marriage. This is a good program and it is acceptable by the government and the complete state and the whole state here, government in the sense public, they are accepting this scheme. And Swachh Telangana, how far our Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, sir, he started Swachh Bharat in the same manner. Our KCR, sir, the Chief Minister of Telangana, he also started Swachh Telangana and Harita Haram scheme also. This program, Harita Haram program, also very, very important for the greenery. Okay, you observe nowadays season wise how the seasons are changing. And when coming to 10 years back or 15 years back or 20 years back, how the season is there. Okay, to overcome the problems, Harita Haram program also helping us, and double bedroom housing for the poor people. Double bedroom housing for the poor people. Okay, then TS iPass for the young entrepreneurs. For the young entrepreneurs, this TS iPass will be helping a good program for giving permission in time and to start their business, a new startups, encouraging the new startups here. This is also very, very important. Then Arogya Lakshmi scheme. Arogya Lakshmi also one of the scheme for the women, especially for the women, giving some protein types, different kinds of products for them at the time of when the baby is there in their womb. Then here Asara pension also there. But the at the old age, these Asara pension also helping. Shadi Mubarak for the Muslim people, and many more schemes are there. For all these schemes to run all these schemes, only the source is a revenue for the government is a very, very important. You have to remind revenue is important. From what are the sources of revenue? The public is a source for them. Okay, public is a source means we are directly not paying or indirectly we are not paying. At some meantime we are paying directly as well as indirectly. Okay, whether are you paying direct tax or indirect tax, whether you know whether you are paying tax or not. Okay, ఇవన్నీ మనం పే చేయాలంటే సార్ ఈ పైన ఉన్న ఫస్ట్ స్లైడ్ చూడండి మీరు, ఫస్ట్ స్లైడ్లో కానీ సెకండ్ స్లైడ్లో ఉన్న ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అన్నిటికీ మనకు డబ్బులు ఎక్కడ నుండి వస్తాయి ఇవి మీరు ఆలోచించండి ఒక్కసారి. ఓకే, టు మీట్ దీస్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ గవర్నమెంట్ నీడ్స్ రెవెన్యూ. ఇవన్నీ మీ రీచ్ కావాలంటే గవర్నమెంట్ కావాల్సింది సోర్స్ ఓన్లీ రెవెన్యూ మాత్రమే. ద టాక్సేషన్ ఇస్ ద ఓన్లీ ప్రైమరీ సోర్స్ ఆఫ్ రెవెన్యూ టు ద సెంట్రల్ అండ్ స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఫర్ ది వెల్ఫేర్ ఆఫ్ ద పీపుల్ ఆర్ పబ్లిక్. సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ కావచ్చు, స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ కావచ్చు, ఇవన్నీ దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని ఒక రెవెన్యూ అనేది జనరేట్ చేయాలి సార్. ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే ట్యాక్స్ రూపంలో గవర్నమెంట్కి రెవెన్యూ జనరేట్ అవుతుంది ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అన్ని రన్ చేయడానికి. యూ అబ్జర్వ్ ఎట్ ద టైమ్ ఆఫ్ లాక్డౌన్ ఆల్సో, okay, the payment of salary is delayed, but now the government taken an initiative paying the salaries to them also now. The next, a brief history of income tax. ఇదంతా మనం చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తాం. తర్వాత అసలు ట్యాక్స్ అంటే ఏంది, ఎక్కడి నుండి వచ్చింది అనేది మన గురించి మనం చూద్దాం ఇవాళ. సో హియర్ ద హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ taxation system is very old. In ancient times, the farmer used to give some part of their crop to the Lord Raja as tax. ఓకే, పూర్వకాలంలో ancient times ఏం జరిగేదంటే ఫార్మర్స్, వ్యవసాయదారులు, ఓకే, సి హియర్ అగైన్ దే ఆర్ ఫోకసింగ్ ఆన్ ఫార్మర్స్ ఓన్లీ సార్. ద ఫార్మర్స్ ఆర్ ద బ్యాక్ బోన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అండ్ ది ఆర్మీ ఇస్ ద బ్యాక్ బోన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా. వీ కెన్ యూజ్ ద వర్డ్ సచ్ యాజ్ జై జవాన్ జై కిసాన్ అంటాం మనం. ఈ రెండు లేకపోతే మనం లేమండి. కాబట్టి మనం ఇప్పుడున్న గవర్నమెంట్ కావచ్చు, ఓకే, పాత గవర్నమెంట్స్ కావచ్చు, ఈ రెండింటిపైన ఫోకస్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. ఎట్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఆల్సో ద స్టేట్ ఆఫ్ తెలంగాణ ఆల్సో లాంచ్డ్ ఏ గుడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఐ మిస్డ్ ఇన్ ద ప్రీవియస్ సైల్, దట్ ఈస్ రైతు బంధు. రైతు బంధు అనే ప్రోగ్రామ్ కూడా లాంచ్ చేయడం జరిగింది, ఎస్పెషల్లీ వ్యవసాయదారుల కోసము. వ్యవసాయం చేసే ఏ వ్యక్తికి అయితే ఒక ఎకరం జాగుంటుందో అతనికి 5,000 రూపాయలు 6 నెలలకు ఒకసారి ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. ఫర్ ఎ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ 6 months, the government of Telangana giving 5,000 rupees for 1 acre land. Those who have, the farmers who have 1 acre land, for them 5,000 rupees is giving for, has a support for them for purchasing the fertilizers, payment of wages, ఓకే, ఫర్ ది లేబర్. ఇదంతా జరగడం జరుగుతుంది సార్. ద నెక్స్ట్ ఓల్డెన్ డేస్లో లార్డ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ రాజా ఉండేవాళ్ళు, రాజులకు కొంచెం వాళ్ళు ఒక క్వింటల్ పండిస్తే అందులో ఒక 20 కిలోలు కానీ ఒక 30 కిలోలు ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ బై అబ్జర్వింగ్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వార్ వాజ్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఇన్ ద 1857. ఇవన్నీ అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తూ 1857లో ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వార్ అనేది స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ఓకే, then here income tax was introduced for the first time in India on 24th July 1860 by Sir James Wilson in order to meet the losses sustained by the government on the account of the military mutiny of 1857 and collected 30 lakhs on land revenue. Thereafter several amendments were made it from time to time. Okay, ఇక్కడ ఏమైందంటే సార్, ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ సర్ జేమ్స్ విల్సన్ అనే వ్యక్తి 24th July 1860లో ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఓకే, టు సస్టైన్ ద లాసెస్. ఫస్ట్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వార్ 1857లో స్టార్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. అప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే చాలా లాస్ అయింది, చాలా మంది చనిపోయారు. ఇదంతా ఓవర్కమ్ చేయాలి. టు రికూప్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్, దీస్ ట్యాక్స్ సిస్టమ్ వాజ్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్. ట్యాక్స్ సిస్టమ్ అనేది ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయడం జరిగింది. అప్పుడు ల్యాండ్ పైన వచ్చిన రెవెన్యూ ఎంతో చూడండి మీరు, 30 lakhs అమౌంట్ వచ్చింది ల్యాండ్ రెవెన్యూ. ఓకే, దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ హియర్ ద సెకండ్ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ 1886 వాజ్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్డ్ బై ది గవర్నర్ జనరల్ లార్డ్ డఫరిన్. Okay, passed and remained in the force up to the various amendments from time to time. Then after, in the year 1918, a new income tax was passed. Again, it was replaced by the another new act 1919, which was passed. క్రమక్రమంగా ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్లో చేంజెస్ కావడం జరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, ప్రజల అవసరాల దృష్ట్యా ఉంచుకొని ఇదంతా అమెండ్మెంట్ చేంజ్ చేస్తూ వచ్చారు. అప్పుడు ద ఫస్ట్ 1886లో గవర్నర్ జనరల్ లార్డ్ డఫరెన్ ఒక యాక్ట్ పాస్ చేశాడు. దెన్ 1918లో ద న్యూ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ వాస్ పాస్డ్. మళ్ళీ అదే ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ని రీప్లేస్ చేస్తూ 1919లో ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ పాస్ చేయడం జరిగింది. ఓకే, దెన్ ఇన్ ద ఇయర్ 1919 ద ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ వాస్ పాస్డ్, రీప్లేస్డ్ బై 1918. దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ in the year 1922, this act remained in the force up to the assessment year 1961-62 with the numerous amendments and collected 22 crores. The Income Tax Act of 1922 has become very complicated on the account of innumerable amendments. 1922లో చాలా అమెండ్మెంట్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. అసెస్మెంట్ ఇయర్ని 1961-62 దృష్టిలో ఉంచుకొని 22 crores రూపీస్ కలెక్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది గవర్నమెంట్. దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ ద ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ ఆఫ్ 1922 హ్యాస్ బికమ్ వెరీ కాంప్లికేటెడ్. చాలా ప్రాబ్లమ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది ఈ 1922 వల్ల. అప్పుడు మెల్లమెల్లగా అమెండ్మెంట్ చేంజ్ చేసుకుంటూ మన ప్రజల దృష్టిలో ఉంచుకొని according to our convenient, the changes are made. The last or current income tax 1961 was referred by the government of India as Law Commission in 1956. 1956లో లా కమిషన్ రికమెండ్ చేయడం జరిగింది 1961 అనేది ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ అని, విత్ ఏ వ్యూ టు సింప్లిఫై అండ్ ప్రివెంట్ ద ఎవాషన్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్స్. The Law Commission submitted its report in September 1958, but in the meantime the government of India has appointed the Direct Tax Administration Inquiry Committee, submitted its report in 1956 in consultation with the Ministry of Law. Finally the Income Tax Act 1961 was passed. In meanwhile the things are going on. Okay, the Direct Tax Administration Inquiry Committee also submitted its report 1956. Then finally the Ministry of Law, finally Income Tax Act 1961 was passed. The Income Tax 1961 has been brought into force with 1st April 1962. ఈ క్వశ్చన్ ఎక్కడైనా అడగొచ్చు సార్. దిస్ క్వశ్చన్ విల్ బి ఆస్క్డ్ ఎనీవేర్ ఇన్ ఎనీ ఎగ్జామినేషన్. The 1st April 1962 is brought as the income tax financial year from 1st April 1962. It applies to whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. Further, the present law of income tax was supported by 4 pillars: legislature, executive, judiciary, media. In this year, an amount of 331 crores collected. 1961లో యాక్ట్ ఫామ్ అయిన తర్వాత 1st April 1962 నుండి అప్లికేబుల్ అవ్వడం స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ఫైనాన్షియల్ ఇయర్ కూడా మనం 1st April 1962 అనొచ్చు. ద నెక్స్ట్ ఇదంతా జమ్మూ కాశ్మీర్ నుండి మొత్తం దేశం మొత్తం అప్లై చేయడం స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అప్లికేబుల్ ఆల్సో. అండ్ ఇదంతా ఫోర్ పిల్లర్స్ ఉన్నాయండి మనకు: లెజిస్లేచర్, ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్, జ్యుడిషియరీ, మీడియా అని. మనం మీడియాని 4th పిల్లర్ అంటాం. 4th estate we are call it as 4th estate. These 4 pillars are the supporting system for the income tax. ఇదే సంవత్సరంలో 1961లో 331 కోట్ల డబ్బు కలెక్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. I think you got these 3 points in this slide. The next, in the year 1964, the Central Board of Revenue was divided into 2: Central Board of Direct Taxes, Central Board of Excise and Customs. క్రమక్రమంగా ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ బర్డెన్ పెరగడం జరుగుతుంది. అప్పుడు ఏం చేశారంటే సార్, ఈ సెంట్రల్ బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ రెవెన్యూ అనే డిపార్ట్మెంట్ డివైడ్ చేయడం చేశారు. సెంట్రల్ బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్ట్ ట్యాక్సెస్, సెంట్రల్ బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్సైజ్ అండ్ కస్టమ్స్. ఇన్ ద ఇయర్ 1975, రెవెన్యూ కలెక్టెడ్ an amount of 1632 crores by the government. In the year 1975, gradually the PAN card system was introduced in 1994. It was used as ID card also when this system was introduced. And then in the year 2000, an amount of 58,000 crores of rupees collected. Permanent account number was introduced in 1994. Then you can observe the changes are came. Okay, then in the year 2003, you observe this website www.incometaxindia.gov.in was launched, and in the year 2006, e-filing system was introduced. With this e-filing, it was increased to 92 lakhs people. They done e-filing. మెల్లమెల్లగా క్రమంగా సిస్టంలో మార్పులు వచ్చి వస్తూ 2003లో ఈ వెబ్సైట్ స్టార్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. Then next, in the year 2006, e-filing system also introduced. 92 lakhs people, they filed their income tax returns also. Then direct tax staff college, it is also very, very important here. Direct tax staff college was established in Nagpur, Maharashtra in the year 1971. Now we are calling National Academy of Direct Taxes, and head will be called as Principal Director General of Income Tax Training. Okay, it is a training department, a staff college. It was established in the Nagpur. Now we are calling it as a National Academy of Direct Taxes, and the head is called as Principal Director General of Income Tax. At present, Miss Alka Tyagi was the present director. Okay, sir, you observe in the previous slides, the first slide, second slide, third slide, we are discussing on tax, income tax. For the welfare of our India, for the welfare of the public, we are collecting the tax. In the year 1857, when the first independence war was started, and from that time, the changes are made, a number of amendments also taken place. So here, first of all, what is tax is a very, very important. We need to understand what is tax. Tax is a compulsory duty and it's a monetary obligation also, charged or imposed by the upper authority, that is government. They are charging. Okay, government will charge, either it is the central government or the state government. Tax system is prevailing in all over the world because it is one of the main source to raise revenue in the hands of the government to meet its expenditure. You observe, not only India, whole world, this is the only source, this is the only source for them to raise their revenue, to raise their revenue. This is the only source for the government. Either they are paying from their salary directly or indirectly. We can see in the next slide. Then here one article is there. Article 246 of Constitution of India gives the authority to the union and state governments respectively for levying taxes. The Constitution of India only saying, sir, 246 article, giving the directions to the union government and central government to collect the tax from the public, to levy the taxes. Okay, for the smooth running of the government, for smooth conduct of all the activities, whole India, all the states. Okay, for applying the schemes, programs for the welfare of the public here, for the welfare of the public is very, very important. The next one here, government of India and the state governments levy the taxes to meet the different types of expenses like defense, education, healthcare, infrastructure facilities like roads, street lights, water resource, like construction of dams, natural calamities, preserving natural resources and natural inheritance. See, in the previous slide also we thought, but I added few things here like defense services. Okay, for our India, the defense, the military, air force, navy, they are protecting us. Today you observe, now you are enjoying your life in your state, complete because of sacrifice by the defense people. We have to salute them in each and every day, every minute. Because of them only we are living a good life in India. But what we are doing in India, ఎన్నో అరాచకాలు అక్రమాలు జరుగుతున్నాయండి. మన కోసం దేశం బార్డర్లో, ఇండియా బార్డర్లో కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళు సోల్జర్స్, మిలిటరీ కావచ్చు, నేవీ కావచ్చు, ఎయిర్ ఫోర్స్ కావచ్చు, మన కోసం వాళ్ళ జీవితాన్ని సాక్రిఫై చేసి వాళ్ళు మన కోసం కాపలాగా ఉన్నారు సార్. కానీ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం ఇక్కడ మన ఇండియాలో ఇంటర్నల్గా మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం? Completely they are sacrificing their life for the protecting our India. But what we are doing internally in the different states, ఇవన్నీ మీరు ఇవన్నీ చేయదండి, because they are sacrificing their life. Then next, to meet the education expenses. See, for education what expenses are incurring, on healthcare, infrastructure facilities like roads, street lights. ఓకే, మీ ఇంటి ముందు ఒక మంచి రోడ్ వస్తుంది సార్, మంచి స్ట్రీట్ లైట్ వస్తుంది, ఎవరు చేస్తున్నారు సార్? whether they are collecting from you? No, they are not collecting. Indirectly they are collecting. Directly on your name they are not collecting, indirectly they are collecting, and they are constructing these type of activities. Then water resource also, for the welfare of the farmers. Now you observe in the Telangana dams, Kaleshwaram project is a good project. Okay, with this here, day by day here what happens, the cultivation is increased, the paddy also increased, and what the target we estimated, beyond the target we also reached. Then to overcome the natural calamities, ఇప్పుడు చూడండి వర్షాలు బాగా పడుతున్నాయి సార్, నిన్నటి వరకు కూడా వర్షం పడింది. ఇదంతా న్యాచురల్ కలామిటీస్ని కూడా మనము ఓవర్కమ్ చేయాలంటే మనకు కావాల్సింది రెవెన్యూ. ప్రిజర్వింగ్ న్యాచురల్ రిసోర్సెస్ ఆల్సో, న్యాచురల్ రిసోర్స్ని కూడా మనం కాపాడుకోవాలి. ఓకే, జూ పార్కులు కావచ్చు, పార్కులు కావచ్చు, prakriti. Okay, we have to protect the nature also here. What are the natural resources are given by the god, we have to protect them. For protecting all these natural resources we required tax, we required money, that is tax. which we are collecting from the public, and natural inheritances. Okay, so I think you got a good information from the tax, and I think you understood also. If you have any doubts regarding tax, you can post a comment in the comment section. Then I will come with a better understanding in a proper way. I think it is a proper way only. It is I think you understand, you understood also. Okay. The next, what is difference between income tax and corporate tax? Here, the two things we have to observe. Income tax is there. From beginning, we are only saying income tax, income tax. And what is this corporate tax also? See, coming to income tax, it is a paid on individual persons on total annual income other than companies. They are taxed on the basis of slabs at different rates given by the income tax department. So here income tax is paid by the individual person on their own name. They are not paying on the company's name. They are paying on their individual name. They are filing on their name only. That is called income tax. Income which is earned by the individual person on behalf or on his name, he is paying the income tax on his total annual income other than companies, and the rates are prescribed and fixed by the income tax department on the slab rates. Okay, the next, corporate tax. It is a tax imposed on the income of the company and paid by the companies, either or both private or public, which are registered in India under Companies Act 1956 or 2013, are liable to pay corporate tax, and it is a tax at specific rate as prescribed by the Income Tax Act, subject to change in the rates every year by the Income Tax Department. The corporate tax are paid by the companies only. ప్రైవేట్ కంపెనీ కావచ్చు, పబ్లిక్ కంపెనీ కావచ్చు, కార్పొరేట్ ట్యాక్స్ వాళ్ళే పే చేస్తారు. ఓకే, ఏ కంపెనీ అయితే కంపెనీస్ యాక్ట్ 1956 2013 ప్రకారం రిజిస్టర్డ్ అయ్యాయో ఆ కంపెనీసే పే చేస్తారు వాళ్ళు. ఓకే, స్లాబ్ రేట్స్ బట్టి ఏదైతే ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ డిసైడ్ చేస్తుందో ఆ స్లాబ్ రేట్స్ ప్రకారం వాళ్ళు పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్, టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్సెస్. There are two types of taxes are there, that is direct tax and indirect tax. Are you I have a small doubt. Direct tax, are you coming under direct tax or indirect tax? That is very, very important. You have to think that whether are you paying taxes or not. Okay, మీరు ట్యాక్స్ పే చేస్తున్నారా లేదా యాజ్ ఎ ఇండివిజువల్. మీరందరు పే చేస్తున్నారు కానీ మీకు తెలియదు, మరి ఏ రూపంలో మీరు ట్యాక్స్ పే చేస్తున్నారో మనం చూద్దాం. ఓకే, సో హియర్ tax is divided into two types, that is direct tax and indirect tax. Here direct tax. Direct tax is directly deposited by person to the government, the incidence of which is to be borne by the person himself. Taxes which are imposed on the person either on his income or wealth, and the tax liability cannot be transferred to other person. Direct taxes are paid after the income reaches in the hands of taxpayer. ఓకే, డైరెక్ట్ ట్యాక్స్ అనేది డైరెక్ట్ గా ఒక వ్యక్తి గవర్నమెంట్ కి డిపాజిట్ చేస్తారు, అతని పేరు మీద డిపాజిట్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. ఆ డైరెక్ట్ ట్యాక్స్ అనేది అతనే కట్టాలి, వేరే వ్యక్తి అతని పేరు మీద కట్టడానికి వీలు లేదు. ఓకే, ఎప్పుడు అతని చేతికి ఎప్పుడైతే ఇన్కమ్ రీచ్ అవుతుందో అప్పుడే అతను డైరెక్ట్ ట్యాక్స్ పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. Okay, here the incidence of which is borne by the person himself only. Taxes which are imposed on the person either on his income or wealth, and the tax liability cannot be transferred to other person. When the income is reaches in his hands, then only is ready to pay the income tax. That is called direct tax. Okay, మీరు చూడండి, the person those who are earning for month 50,000 or 1 lakh according to slab rates బట్టి ఎవరైతే 50,000 కానీ ₹1,00,000 సంపాదిస్తారో ప్రతి నెల, అప్పుడు 12 months ఎంత అవుతుందో యూ కెన్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్. అకార్డింగ్ టు దట్, ఓకే, అకార్డింగ్ టు దట్ దే ఆర్ పేయింగ్ ద ట్యాక్స్ ఆన్ దేర్ నేమ్. వాళ్ళ పేరు మీద ట్యాక్స్ పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. సో హియర్ ఫ్యూ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. ఉదాహరణకి ఇక్కడ చూద్దామండి. ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్, ఓకే, wealth tax, property tax, corporate tax, gift tax, capital gains, securities transaction tax, perquisite tax, banking transaction tax, etc. ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చిన ఉదాహరణలో, ఓకే, సో యూ అబ్జర్వ్ దీస్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ On these activities, the person is paying the tax on his own name. The name will be filed. So here this is called the direct tax. The next one is here indirect tax. Indirect tax, which is levied on the price of goods, products and services, then it is called a indirect tax. Indirect tax is levied on the product, manufacturer or service provider, but the incidence of which is borne by the consumer. Tax burden is shifted to the subsequent ultimate user. Okay, ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తామంటే సార్, ఇక్కడ you observe indirect tax is nothing but when you go to any shopping mall for purchasing dress or for any hotels for having lunch, tiffins or dinner, at that time some additional charges are incurred. You are paying 30 rupees or 40 rupees or 50 rupees. Okay, from these 30, 40, 50 or 100 rupees, some percentage, 1% or 2%, they are charging, and this amount will be a revenue for the government. So here the tax burden is ultimately shifted on ultimate subsequent user here, subsequent ultimate user on manufacturing of any product, service provider, and incidence was which is borne by the consumers, those who are consuming these products. మీరు ఒక బర్గర్ తింటారు సార్ హోటల్కి వెళ్ళి, మరి ఆ బర్గర్ పైన కూడా కొంచెం ట్యాక్స్ పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, యు ఆర్ మూవింగ్ టు ఎనీ 5-star hotel, at that place also you are paying some tax. Indirectly you are paying, మీ పేరు మీద మీరు ట్యాక్స్ పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. Then here the few examples are there: excise duty, custom duty, import duty and export duty, service tax, sales tax, VAT, GST, motor vehicle tax, entertainment tax. You observe what is excise tax మీకు తెలుసు. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చిన అన్ని మీకు తెలుసు. ఇక్కడ చూడండి ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ ట్యాక్స్ లాస్ట్లో, ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ ట్యాక్స్ when you go for any cinema. Okay, the suppose the ticket is 100 rupees, but actually 80 rupees it is there. In meanwhile you are paying some additional 20 rupees. You observe before lockdown how many theaters are running. At present no theaters are going running. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు థియేటర్లో సినిమాలు ఏం నడుస్తలేవు సార్. కాబట్టి మీరు ఒకసారి ఊహించుకోండి, how many theaters are there whole India, then what amount of revenue is generated every minute and every second from morning to evening 24 hours లో ఎంత అమౌంట్ జనరేట్ అవుతుందో చూడండి మీరు. ఇదంతా రెవెన్యూ గవర్నమెంట్కి టు రన్ ఆల్ ది స్కీమ్స్, ప్రోగ్రామ్స్, ఆల్ ది యాక్టివిటీస్. The revenue is the main source. From indirect tax also we are getting the tax for the government. Okay, these are the few examples. Okay, here the tax is a burden for subsequent ultimate user, that is consumer. Direct గా మీరు ఇంత పే చేయాలి అని మనకి ఎవరు చెప్పరు సార్. మనము మన వచ్చిన ఇన్కంలో కొంచెం 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 కట్టుకుంటూ వెళ్తాం. ఓకే, సపోజ్ యూ పర్చేజ్ ఏ ఫ్రిడ్జ్, సపోజ్ యూ పర్చేజ్ ఏ చైర్, okay, you purchased a shoes, you purchased a shirt, pant, any item. When there is a purchase transaction is taking place, okay, then what happens? A revenue also generated for the government. మీరు పొద్దున్న లేచినప్పటి నుండి సాయంత్రం పడుకునే వరకు మీరు చూడండి, మీరు ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఏదైతే పర్చేజ్ చేస్తారో వాటి అన్నిటికీ మన ఇండైరెక్ట్గా మనం ట్యాక్స్ పే చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. సో you are falling in indirect tax. Suppose you are a salaried employed, you are earning every month more than 50,000 or 1 lakh or 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. Okay, మీరు చూడండి cricketers, okay, what is the package for them every year, and for the corporate companies also every year package. మంచి మంచి టాప్ CEOs వాళ్ళందరికీ ఒకటేసారి ప్యాకేజ్ ప్రకటిస్తారు, వాళ్ళందరికీ ఒకటేసారి ప్యాకేజ్ ప్రకటిస్తారు. At that time, from that they are paying the taxes on their name, that is called direct tax. In meanwhile, the few expenditure they are incurring, okay, for the purchasing a different products, goods, services also they are rendering from the manufacturing department. For them also they are paying. This is called indirect tax. And here you observe the few examples are there: excise duty, custom duty, import duty and export duty, service tax, sales tax, VAT, GST, okay, motor vehicle tax, entertainment tax, etc. are the few examples. The next one here, sources of tax in India. This is also very very important. Here In India, union government and state government both levy taxes. Okay, India lo our system is a federal system, sir. In this federal system, what is federal system first of all? Okay, federal system is nothing but when you observe to America and India. In America, only the president will be there. In our India, president as well as the prime minister of India also there. We have the two systems here. That is a federal system. That is in the federal system, union government and state governments are there, and these two governments at the central level as well as at the state level, they are levying the taxes. Okay, Article 246 in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India gives the division of powers and directions to the union and state government for levying taxes. In advance only, in Article 246 Schedule 7, they give the powers to the government, either it is a state or central government, and directions to collect the taxes from the public, either it's a direct tax or it's a indirect tax. Then next one, what is 7th schedule includes? Here the 7th schedule includes here three lists. That is, the first one is a union list, the second one is a state list, and the third one is a concurrent list. In the union list here, a range of 97 entries are there, under which 97 entries are there under which the parliament may make laws. Parliament may make laws. This includes income tax, corporation tax, custom duties, excise duties, service tax, central sales tax, defense, foreign affairs, railways, banking, tax on sale and purchase of newspapers and advertisements are few entries that comes under this union list. Okay, ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే లిస్ట్ ఉందో ఈ లిస్ట్ నేను కొన్ని తీసుకున్నాను ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గాను 97 ఎంట్రీస్ ఉన్నాయి సార్. వీటన్నిటిపైన గవర్నమెంట్కి యూనియన్ గవర్నమెంట్కి ట్యాక్స్ అనేది వస్తుంది. Okay, I have given few examples only under the 97 entries here. From these sources, the union government, they are generating the tax. Okay, you observe what are there. By observing this slide, you can get some clarity. The next one here, the state government has 66 entries under which the legislature of the state may make laws. Value added tax, we call it as a VAT. Tax and agriculture income. At present, no government is collecting the tax. Previously, it is there. Then tax on alcoholic liquors, land revenue includes the assessment and the collection of revenues, the maintenance of records, survey for revenue purpose, the tax on profession, employment, tolls. Okay, toll plaza is there, you observe. Public order, police, public health and sanitization, hospitals and dispensaries are the few of the entries which comes under the state. Okay, ఇవన్నీ కొన్ని ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ నేను తీసుకున్నాను, స్టేట్ లిస్ట్లో వస్తాయి ఇవన్నీ. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ట్యాక్స్ ఆన్ అగ్రికల్చర్ ఇన్కమ్ తీసేశారు సార్, బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇంక్లూడెడ్ ఇన్ ప్రీవియస్, దట్స్ వై ఐ యాడెడ్ హియర్. దెన్ కాంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్ includes here 47 entries that gives power to both the central and state government. Here concurrent is nothing but ఇక్కడ సెంట్రల్ మరియు స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ కూడా మళ్ళీ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవడం జరుగుతుంది. లైక్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇంక్లూడింగ్ టెక్నికల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, మెడికల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, యూనివర్సిటీస్, population control and family planning, criminal law, prevention of cruelty to animals, protection of wildlife and animals, and maintenance of forest. Okay, all these comes under concurrent list. Okay, I think you got a good idea regarding this 7th schedule, which includes three lists, that is union list, state list and concurrent list. Okay, these are the few entries which are included in these three lists. Okay, you observe the slide properly, you can get a good clarity. Okay, the next one here, so next slide we will discuss in the class 2. So at this we can end for today's class. I think you got clarity. You observe all these things here from the beginning here. See, introduction to income tax, you got what is tax, and here central government schemes and programs are there. I have given some few examples which will help you. And the state government schemes and programs, I have taken the state of Telangana as an example, and which programs, what programs are they are launching. Then here small brief history, why these income taxes came in India and from which year it is came, and who is the person who introduced this tax. Then next here, day by day, gradually the changes are made here. You observe the changes. Okay, then next here, what is tax here, and under which article it comes, and here difference between income tax and corporate tax, you got a good idea. And two types of tax are there, that is direct tax and indirect tax. Here the few examples I have taken for direct tax, and for indirect tax also I have taken few examples. And source of tax is there, what are the sources, and here the one schedule is there, 7th schedule. So thank you viewers for respond for my class 1, and especially for the students also it is benefited for them, those who are studying either MCOM, MBA, BCom, and this is a few small introduction about income tax. In the next class we are covering all the topics. Please subscribe to my channel Fine Telangana. It's a YouTube channel I started recently, so I want your support, full support. Based on your support, I mean to say a good classes on income tax, and day by day I'm focusing on other areas also, other area in the sense on general knowledge and different activities I'm going to focus, and which is benefited for the public and which is benefited for the common man. So those who are not subscribed till now, please subscribe to my channel Fine Telangana. When you type in the YouTube, the search button Fine Telangana, the my face, you observe my face will appear. Okay, please subscribe to my channel. So thank you for the today. Thank you very much.